welcome to our first ever installment of the Horse with No Name video podcast. This is our new video podcast for the 2017-18 academic year. We're going to be doing lots of different things on the podcast this year, interviews with student athletes and coaches, and me some weeks just talking about the week that was or the week that's coming up in Charger athletics. This video podcast is brought to you by Sight and Sound Theaters. They're our gracious sponsors. They sponsor many things that we do in LBC Athletics. We thank them for being a sponsor of the Horse with No Name podcast. My name is Zach Freeman. We are here in my office, so that's why you see the hockey net behind me and a couple other historical photos behind me. So we're not getting hockey here at Lancaster Bible College, not yet anyway. So until then, we'll just have the net and stick and puck behind me. LBC has 3 new head coaches this year, and they all are starting in the fall. They've all started with practice a week ago, and we'll run through those coaches here. And also want to let you know that we will have season previews with each of the coaches, all 4 of the coaches in the fall. Head coach Tommy Art of the men's soccer team is not new, but we will have a season preview interview with him. Ryan Gaiman will be the first interview for us this year when we present those interviews later this week. He is the new head coach of the men's and women's cross country team. Ryan comes to us sort of from Eastern Mennonite. He went to Eastern Mennonite and graduated there, was a terrific runner for the Royals down in Eastern Mennonite, and he brings a ton of passion. He's a ton of fun, and he has running in his blood. Very excited to have him as a member of the Chargers staff this year, and looking for great things from our cross country teams this season. Our second head coach there's news this year is Jackie Smith. She'll be heading up the women's volleyball program. She takes over for Lauren Bewley, who stepped down after 11 seasons of guiding the Chargers. Jackie comes to us from Northwestern University in Minnesota. So they're in St. Paul, Minnesota. She actually played for our men's basketball head coach, Zach Freeman, when he was an assistant basketball team up there in Northwestern, so a bit of a relationship there prior to LBC. So Jackie will be heading up the women's volleyball program, and just like Ryan, very intense, very focused, has the girls working hard already this preseason as they gear up for their opening weekend coming up this weekend. Our third new coach just found out she was going to be a head coach about 26 days ago, as Allie Brown will be the interim women's soccer head coach here at LBC for the 2017 season. Former head coach, Leah Sight McDermott leaving for a job at Lebanon Valley late in July, and Allie was named the interim head women's soccer coach here at LBC just early in August. She's a graduate of LBC, graduated in 2014 and played for the Chargers from 2010 to 2012, and she was actually NEAC Player of the Year in 2011 as the Chargers went on to the NCAA tournament both her junior and senior years. So she brings some experience certainly on the field. She was a terrific player on the field. Has gotten her master's degree from Cairn University and has served as their assistant women's soccer coach for the past 2 years. So she's very excited to begin her run here, and the Chargers have a loaded team and look to make a deep run into the NEAC playoffs like they did a year ago, losing to Penn State Berks in the NEAC final in double overtime. So all 5 teams will begin their season on Friday evening or afternoon. The men's and women's cross-country team will head up to Dallas, Pennsylvania, and take on Misericordia, as well as other teams at the Misericordia Invitational, that beginning at 6 o'clock. The men's soccer team will play 2 home games this weekend as they open the 2017 season. They'll host Pitt Bradford on Friday afternoon at 4 o'clock to open their season. And then we'll take on Ramapo on Saturday at 1 o'clock. The Chargers have never played Pitt Bradford before. They've played Pitt Greensburg, another branch campus of the Pitt institutions, but they've never played Pitt Bradford. The Chargers have played Ramapo earlier in the season the past couple of years. They lost a year ago in Mahwah, New Jersey, 1-0 to the Roadrunners, and tied them 2-2 here to open the 2015 season out on Charger Field. So LBC getting a couple of good early season tests with some non-conference opponents once again as the Chargers look to, again, make the NEAC playoffs and make a run into deeper into the NEAC playoffs. The women's volleyball team will open their season once again with the Crosstown Crossover. This is a tournament that previously featured Franklin and Marshall, Elizabethtown, and Penn State Berks. The Chargers this year, though, actually played Penn State Berks, I think, the second week of the season. So the Nittany Lions and Chargers did not want to play one another in back-to-back weeks. So Penn State Berks dropped out of the tournament, and the teams added Messiah to this year's host of teams. So LBC is actually going to host Messiah on Friday night, while F&M hosts Elizabethtown, and the rest of the matches will be played on Saturday at F&M when the Chargers, take on the Diplomats and the Blue Jays. Friday night's match is going to be not only the season opener for the Chargers, but a very important and special match for everyone here at LBC, as we're going to celebrate the life of Alyssa Bowen, who tragically was passed away last December 19th over Christmas break. This is LBC's first women's volleyball match since her passing, and LBC is going to honor her, her family. We're going to have some pregame festivities guided by head coach Jackie Smith, as well as former women's volleyball head coach Lauren Bewley. And it's just going to be a time to celebrate Alyssa, celebrate the game of volleyball that she loved, and all of LBC coming together to honor everyone that was a part of that last year, and to continue to honor Alyssa and her family and her legacy. T-shirts are going to be available prior to the match that can be purchased, and all the proceeds are going to go to the scholarship that is in Alyssa's name for her high school that she attended down in Maryland. So it's just going to be a really great evening. She had friends on Messiah's team as well, so it's really nice that Messiah can be here for that match, and we can kick off the 2017 season and remember and celebrate Alyssa and get to playing some volleyball, which for sure everyone is ready to do here on the campus of Lancaster Bible College. The women's soccer team will open their season on Friday as well. Friday afternoon, they'll take on DeSales at 4 o'clock. And on Saturday, they will then host Penn State Harrisburg at 4 o'clock. So the Chargers haven't played DeSales before, but they haven't played DeSales in a while. I think 2004 was the last time they played DeSales. But LBC will host Penn State Harrisburg on Saturday, who they lost to 2-0 2 years ago here at Charger Field. So, and again, 2 early season tests for the Chargers. They look to get some momentum here early in the season before heading into NEAC play later in September. There's lots of ways to follow us this year here at LBC on the LBC Athletics website, as well as social media pages. The website, of course, lbcchargers.com. You can find all of the updated rosters, schedule pages, stats, anything really you want to about LBC Athletics you can find on our website there at lbcchargers.com. We're also going to have a heavy presence, once again on social media. You can find us on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook at LBC Athletics is the best way to search most of those things out. We're going to be doing some pregame and postgame shows on our Twitter page this season. So before the game or contest or match, you can find us there on Twitter, just going over a couple of pregame notes. And then probably about 5, 6, 7 minutes after each contest, we'll jump back on Twitter and have a little post-game show, whether that's a quick interview with a student-athlete or a coach, or simply going over the stats and sort of recapping what happened. It'll be a great way for those who may have missed some of the game to learn about the goal scorers, or who had the most hits or kills, or whatever the stat is regarding that sport. It'll be a great way to follow the Chargers pre- and post-game. We'll also be on YouTube and Stretch Internet this year. All of the LBC home games will be featured live, whether that's live video on YouTube or live audio on Stretch Internet. Every game that plays here at LBC will be broadcast live. So the links are on our schedule page for each sport, and we will also post those on Twitter the day of the game as well. So again, pretty easy ways to follow LBC Athletics and catch all the live broadcasts. Many of the sports will have live play-by-play, generally from myself, but I'll also have help throughout the year as well. Each fall team has a season preview coming out this week. The fall previews will be posted on Thursday and Friday. We'll look to feature men's, women's cross country, as well as women's volleyball on Thursday, and then we'll release both of the soccer previews on Friday. Those previews are going to be a little different than they have been in years past. Generally, in the past, I've simply written about the team and some newcomers and the schedule and things like that. But this year, we opted to go with more of a newer approach. We're going to have some live interviews that we had, not live, but taped interviews that we did about a week ago with each coach. And so they'll talk a little bit about their season and what they're expecting from their team. And then there'll also be some news and notes in there about each team and what the schedule will bring up, as well as some newcomers and what we can expect, hopefully, in the fall season from each team. The NEAC preseason polls will begin being released actually today, as well as tomorrow and the following day. So look for those as well. Probably won't be a story on those, but there'll be certainly a graphic on Twitter and our Facebook pages. So be on the lookout for those this week, as the coaches have voted on the preseason poll, and we'll see where the Chargers end up in each of the 5 sports that kick off for the 2017 season. So this has been the first podcast with the Horse with No Name. I love that name. And we'll look to do this on a weekly basis and just get everyone caught up with everything that they need to know about LBC Athletics. So we will see you on Friday at 4 o'clock as we kick off the 2017-18 academic year with the men's soccer team taking on Pitt Bradford. Thanks once again to Sight and Sound, our sponsor, as well as Pete Stover and the 540 helping us out. This has been Zach Freeman. Go Chargers, go!